Hello, I hope you're well. Um, just something I was talking about today, and I thought would be really good to bring up as a conversation piece for a video. Um, you know, and a lot of you know this already, but there's always going to be someone out there who doesn't. We all have access to what people would call supernatural things, but really they're natural things that we've just forgotten and have been distracted from and have been put into systems and beliefs and routines and whatever that have blocked us from even having this internal wisdom of us being able to access this stuff. But it's never stopped being there. It's kind of like Source. It's always there. It's always existing, always loving us, always giving us that life energy. But whatever, we can believe things, be taught things, whatever, that block us from that connection with Source, right? Just from our own beliefs. So, anyways, that's a whole other subject, kind of. We have access to gifts, and it doesn't mean you're special. It doesn't mean you're chosen. It doesn't mean you should be a leader or some kind of pastor or guru or whatever. We all have these gifts, and we need to know that so that we're not putting somebody on a pedestal, and so we're not worshiping somebody and following somebody and whatever because they have these amazing gifts, so they must be amazing and chosen by God or Source or whatever, and we should listen to everything they say because they must be special or they wouldn't be able to do these things. We need to understand that that's bullshit and dangerous thinking, because we all have access to these gifts and we can all learn to remove blocks that allow us to access them. And whatever gifts we access, we're going to be filtering through our own filters and beliefs. And we're flawed humans. And when we get things, we are going to filter it through our beliefs and our own glasses, right? So everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Everything. Someone could do something amazing. They could know about something that there's no way they should know about it, right? They could be maybe sense someone who passed away in your life, or know about something going on medically in your body that no one else knows, or know something from your past that you never told anybody, or whatever. They could get this insight, and then they can use it for good or they can use it for bad. They can twist it with whatever their beliefs are. So say it's a religious cult of some sort, and they get an insight about you that you're like, oh my gosh, there's no, you could have known that, that's amazing. And then you're and then they're like, oh yeah, well, that's because my way is the right way and our cult is the right cult and we know the truth and blah 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 blah. There could be twisting like that, or they can say something they can twist it through their own fearful beliefs and be like, oh, that's because God's warning you because he doesn't want to punish you, or because something bad's coming if you don't do something, and right? They can twist it through their own filters and put it in different ways. You have to know that anything anyone gets, they can throw in their own humanness to it, right? And so you have to be careful. You have to take these people off pedestals. You can be so thankful for their gift, right? But when they start throwing in fears and have-tos or threats, whatever, that's a huge red flag that sure, they got this gift, but it is certainly not in full freedom and without fear and without distortion. from their own beliefs and filters and whatever. And so, where am I going with that? I don't know. Like, we all know amazing healers and intuitives and like mediums and whatever that have blessed and changed our lives, and we all know ones that have told us things that have sent us spiraling in fear. And there can, some people believe that people need fear to be motivated to do the right thing, to change. You have to throw in the fear. You have to throw in the discipline or the fear that will make them be disciplined or do the thing they need to do or whatever. But no, in my experience, that sends a person spiraling, and it might motivate them for a moment, but then it sends them plummeting again because it builds on guilt and it builds on fear, and no good fruit or permanent fruit comes from that. It's truth that sets us free. I know that's redundant religious saying, but it is still true, in or out of the Bible, which I'm not a Bible follower, like a Christian or whatever. But it is truth that sets us free. And it's love that sets us free from fear. And love expands us. It sets us free from our limitations that keep us from doing what we should be doing. Or, I don't even want to use the word should. What is in our highest alignment? What is actually us at our most free and highest and in alignment selves? It's love and truth that sets us free to be all that we are without all the fearful restrictions that make us a messed up vibration and representation to the world. And so I don't like that, because fear can work for a moment to motivate someone, but won't last for a permanent change. So I guess the message is, please just take people off pedestals. Don't worship them because they have a gift. And just keep your head on straight. Know what you know in your heart. See what resonates with you that you're hearing, that is expansive, that is setting you free, that is loosing fears, that is removing blocks, that is in alignment with what you already know inside, deep inside in your highest self, that part of you that is allowing love in and just knows already. Like, that is a good sign. That is a good sign. Because part of being in a world full of contrast, in these limited human flesh suits, is that we can't see it all. And there is wiring that goes on in the physical body that can make us messy. And so we need to remember that we're all human and we're all spiritual. And so don't write yourself off on what you can and can't do and what you intuitively know. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Does it feel like it's closing you in, setting up fear? Does it feel expansive and freeing? Pay attention to those things, and you'll go in the right direction. Right? Am I doing this out of fear? Am I doing this out of love? We can do the same thing, and it can be different just out of the filter we're doing it from. Like, say I'm taking vitamins. I can be doing it out of love for myself, or I can be doing it out of complete fear because I'm afraid of getting sick or something, right? Like, that affects you. And alignment is coming into alignment with love, not fear. I'm doing this because I feel great when I do it. Because I love myself. Because it feels good to feel good. Like, not because I'm afraid I'm going to get sick and this, Cancer, blah, blah, and I gotta take all this stuff because I'm afraid, and I eat this way because I'm afraid. Like, that's a completely different vibration. And, you know, you got to remember that when you go in for a reading or a healer or whatever, you're bringing your vibration with you. And you better hope that their vibration is connected to a higher source of love and not just picking up on your vibration, because all they're going to do is read your vibration back to you and increase all those fears. So there are people, like, you can go see a reader, and a reader can connect up to higher source and help you move out of that fear. Or a reader can connect with all your fears and reaffirm them for you. Just repeat them back to you. And you'll be afraid because you're like, oh my God, that's what I was already thinking, and that's what I thought, and that's what I was fearing inside, and that was it. Yeah, they just basically picked up on your vibration and read it back to you. That's not helpful. That's not a gift. I mean, if they're aware of something higher, like, look, dude, this is what you're vibrating, this is what you're creating, so, like, maybe you need to find another way to look at this, or release some of that, or whatever. But all they're doing is amplifying stuff you don't want to create. So you really need somebody who's really in tune with source and the higher wisdom from love, so that when you go to them, it's stuff that's setting you free, not amplifying your fears. Does that make sense? Like, it's the truth of stuff you already know. It's not like, yeah, I don't know. I can't even think of a good example. Like, this doesn't feel like a good example. I know I keep going back to food and stuff, but if, like, someone's like, you know, you've been eating like shit and you're gonna die and you've got this disease and blah blah blah, and it's punishment for this and all this stuff and whatever, over like someone who's like, wow, you've been feeling it in your heart for a while now and feeling inspired to, like, do this new thing, try and eat in this new way, pursue this dream of yours, whatever. And I just want to confirm for you that that's in alignment. Like, source knows, and source loves you, and source wants that for you too, and you need to move into alignment with you and your highest self and what you do if you knew you were loved. And so, I mean, that's a very different message. That's speaking to what someone already knows inside in a way that encourages them and lets them know source is on their side. Go for it, right? Over trying to make them fearfully move in the right direction because of fear. Like I said, can work for a moment, but isn't that big change inside and doesn't connect them to the love of source. And can leave them feeling hopeless, because oftentimes when we already know we should be doing something and we don't, there's a fear block. Not a love block. I mean, yes, a love block. Fear blocks love, but when you're not doing something you already know you should, there's some kind of block. Fear block, belief block, whatever. And love is what sets us free from fear, not more fear. Does that make sense? So, I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. So, shine your light, be light, and look for the light, feel the light. Know it's in alignment. You're smarter than you think, and we're all more connected than we think. And I hope we all open up to that and just keep getting more and more free in the right direction, creating the things that we want to create. Okay, love you. Bye. And, you know, just to add to that, because I was thinking of this too, when people have crazy experiences, amazing experiences, supernatural experiences, you have to remember that that is an experience of energy, and their interpretation of it. So So let's say you go to a religious organization and have a crazy spiritual experience, and your mind and imagination and all that stuff interpret it as things that align with that spiritual association. So, like, let's say they're preaching Jesus or something, right? And you, like, just feel this amazing energy, and maybe you, like, start crying or lay down or go into an experience where you start seeing things or whatever. You have to remember that's all energy that you're experiencing, and energy coming strong, and emotion. It's often a lot of emotion is built up in those environments, or it's built up in you and it's just releasing. And in that experience, your brain is trying to make sense of it, and it will use the information it has to create sense out of what you're experiencing, whether that is suddenly you see a Jesus or an angel, or maybe someone from the past, or whatever it might be. And or maybe you don't experience any of that. Maybe you just experience an amazing feeling and a release, and it feels healing and freeing and all these things. And then you come out of it and someone interprets it for you. Oh, that was Jesus doing this to you, or that was an angel, or la la la. And then you're like, go around telling everybody these testimonies of, I had this amazing experience and Jesus came and did this thing for me. But was it Jesus, or was it you allowing life energy to and that energy was like healing, right? So what was it? I kind of know it was the latter, because I mean, we all have experiences. We can all put it to an image or a person or a guru or whatever to help our brains latch onto something, so maybe it flows easier, right? That's why a lot of people like to call God a male father figure, because maybe it's easier for them to imagine how they would relate to a father if he was loving, right? Maybe it's easier than just energy, unconditional love, life-giving energy that flows, and sometimes we tap into it in powerful ways and it flows through us, and sometimes we resist it in powerful ways and it hurts. It's very uncomfortable. It causes dis-ease, right? And people can interpret that too, right? Like, say there's a strong energy and emotion and stuff flowing, and you're in big resistance and fear, and you have a bad experience, and your brain interprets it as, what is something bad that we've learned? Oh, I've learned demons, so I'm going to interpret it as a demonic attack and build that fear up so that we can resist it. And then you have a horrible experience and think it's a demonic attack, and right, but in the end it's really just all energy, and our allowing of it and our resisting of it, and how we experience it, and then how we interpret it through our own filters and what we have in our brains to interpret it through, right? Like, just like in the past, if there was epilepsy and someone was having a seizure, they didn't know what epilepsy was, they didn't know what a seizure was, they just said it's a demon, right? Because that was the only information they had that their minds could grasp to make sense out of that at that time. And that's like all of history, which is why we're supposed to grow from history and the things we've learned in history. We're supposed to grow from that, not stay stuck in it and recreate it. So some of us are there and some of us not so much, but that's okay. Energy meets us wherever we're at, and truth never stops being truth, and it never stops being. And we figure it out in one way or another when the fearful parts and the parts that don't make sense start to add up to a point we can't ignore it anymore. And that's life. That's all of life. Everything is stuff that builds up until we can't ignore it anymore, whether it's in our health, whether it's in our emotions, whether it's in our experiences, whether it's in the repeat cycles we seem to stay stuck in, or things that build up, or whatever. Eventually we get to a point where we're like, well, what the heck, something's not right here. I need to start questioning this. And that's the way life's set up, and thank goodness it is, so that we can keep growing, hopefully.